The battlefield was quiet now. Burning metal and broken ships painted the sky red with smoke. Bodies lay scattered, human and alien alike. Only one figure still stood tall among the ruins, an armored alien warrior. Her armor shining black and silver, taller than any human soldier, her glowing eyes locked onto him. The last human survivor. She marched forward, each step making the ground tremble. Her spear tip stopped just inches from his chest. Human. She growled, her voice sharp and cold. Before I end you, tell me what you want most. He didn't flinch. His face was bruised, blood on his lips, yet he smiled. Slowly, calmly. He leaned closer to her spear and whispered, "You." The word cut through the air sharper than her blade. Her eyes widened inside the helmet. For a moment, silence. No fear, no begging, no last prayer. Only that one word. She snarled, trying to regain her composure. "You dare mock me?" "But..." His grin only widened. "Mock, no, I mean it. What I want is you, all of you. I mean, look at you. Towering, deadly, wrapped in shiny armor. Tell me, do you always undress this easily when someone asks?" Her hand twitched on the spear. Her armor shimmered as if reacting to her emotions. The plates flickered, small gaps forming along her arms and chest. She gasped softly. "No one should have been able to trigger this. Stay silent, human." She snapped. "Your words mean nothing." He leaned closer, his voice low, teasing. "Funny, because your armor thinks my words mean everything." Her lips parted under her helmet. She felt heat crawling over her skin, as if the armor itself betrayed her. His gaze was steady, those human eyes refusing to break away. She stepped back quickly, trying to hide her reaction. "You think being bold will save your life?" He chuckled, wiping blood from his mouth. "Not save my life, but maybe win yours." She should have struck him down right there. Instead, she hesitated. Her hand trembled slightly on the spear. She hated it. No one had ever shaken her before. No one had ever made her blush. The human tilted his head, eyes raking up and down her armored form. "You asked what I want most. I answered honestly. And I've gotta admit, you're even more interesting when you're angry. Makes me wonder what you'd look like if all that armor came off." Her breath caught. Heat rushed through her veins, confusion mixed with something else. Something she refused to name. "Enough!" She roared, slamming the spear into the dirt. The shockwave sent dust flying. "You are my prisoner now." He only smirked, standing tall. "Prisoner, HM. Fine. As long as you're the one guarding me. Preferably at night." Her fists clenched. She wanted to hit him, silence him. Yet every word only drew her deeper into a strange trap. He was supposed to be prey, but somehow he was the one cornering her. The other alien soldiers around them stared in disbelief. No one dared move. Their champion warrior was faltering. Against one injured human, she grabbed his collar, lifting him easily with one hand. Her glowing eyes burned into his. "You play with death, human. One more word and You'll what?" he interrupted softly. His lips curved in that dangerous smile again. "Kiss me before you kill me." Her jaw tightened. Her armor pulsed, panels sliding open along her shoulders and chest. She froze, stunned. The armor was falling away. Piece by piece. Metal clattered onto the ground. Her shoulders, her arms, the curve of her collarbone now bare under the smoke-filled sky. Gasps echoed around the battlefield. She felt naked, vulnerable, yet she couldn't move. The human's smile softened, his eyes lowering. Not mocking now, but something else. Beautiful. He whispered. Her heart thundered against her ribs. She hated it. She wanted to crush him, and yet she tightened her grip on him, breath sharp, eyes torn between rage and desire. No one had ever spoken to her like this. No one had ever made her armor drop. The battlefield seemed to vanish, leaving only him and her, and then the last plate of armor fell with a heavy clang. Her true form revealed. His eyes widened. His lips parted, and she whispered, trembling, with fury and something else entirely, "Human, what have you done to me?" Cliffhanger ending question for comments. If you were in his place, and her armor fell piece by piece in front of you, would you beg for mercy or ask for something far naughtier? Asterisk, the clang of her last armor plate still echoed across the ruined battlefield. She stood bare to the air, though not naked. Her warrior's underskin, thin and glowing with alien patterns, hugged her form like a second skin. Still, for her, it was as if she had been stripped before the enemy, and he was no ordinary enemy. The human's eyes moved slowly over her, not with fear, but with quiet hunger. His lips curved in that same daring smile. "You know," he murmured, voice low and teasing, "I never thought my words would actually undress a woman. Normally I need wine, candles, and a terrible pickup line." Her jaw tightened, cheeks heating with something she refused to admit. She stepped closer, shadows clinging to her tall frame. "You mock me again," she hissed, but her voice cracked slightly, betraying her. His smile only deepened. "Not mocking, just admiring. You look dangerous and gorgeous at the same time. Trust me, I'm a man who appreciates both." She froze, her chest rising sharply. Her kind was not used to compliments, not real ones. Certainly not from prey. Around them, alien soldiers shifted uneasily. Their champion warrior, their iron shield, was standing, flustered, by a single human. She swung her spear sideways, catching his chin and forcing his face up to her eyes. "You dare look at me with those insolent eyes?" He leaned closer, into the blade, lips brushing dangerously near the weapon's edge. "Can't help it. Your eyes are even sharper than your spear. I swear, they're disarming me faster than your armor did." Her chest tightened. His words clawed at her walls, breaking them piece by piece. She should have ended him. Instead, she lowered the spear. "Enough. You will come with me. Prisoner of war." He chuckled softly, shaking his head. "Prisoner, huh? Does that mean I get a cell, or your tent?" Gasps broke from her soldiers. She snarled, yanking him forward by the arm. "Silence. One more word and I'll make me beg?" He cut in smoothly, leaning closer. "Careful. I've always been terrible at begging. I'm much better at bargaining." Her teeth ground together, but her grip tightened. She dragged him across the ruins, ignoring the whispers of her people. When they reached the camp, she shoved him down onto the ground. Chains locked around his wrists, but his smirk never faded. "You tie me up so fast," he said with a wink. "Didn't even buy me dinner first. You aliens sure move quickly." Her pulse stumbled. She hated how his words lit sparks inside her. She knelt before him, eyes blazing. "You think this is a game, human? I could snap your neck with one hand." He tilted his head, lips curving into that dangerous grin again. "Maybe, but instead of snapping, what if you squeeze just a little gentler? Might even enjoy it." Her eyes widened, breath caught in her throat. Heat flared across her face. For a moment, she forgot her soldiers were watching, forgot she was their leader. All she could think of was his voice, that tone. Daring her, teasing her, tempting her. "Why do you speak like this?" she demanded, almost breathless. His answer came softly, like a whisper of fire. "Because you asked me what I wanted. And I already told you." "You." Her hands shook. Her honor code screamed to silence him. Her pride begged her to prove control. But her body, her heart, they betrayed her. She stood quickly, turning away before anyone could see the weakness on her face. Her soldiers bowed their heads in confusion. Some whispered, was their champion falling for a human? She snapped at them to leave. Reluctantly they obeyed, leaving her alone with him. Silence thickened between them. He leaned back against the post, chains rattling lightly as he spoke again. "You know, you keep threatening me, but your eyes, they don't look like they want to kill me. They look like they want something else." She spun back, fury flashing. "And what do you think that is?" He smirked, and leaned in as far as the chains would let him. "Me." Her breath caught. Her heart hammered. She hated him. But gods, she wanted to hear him say more. The fire inside her chest grew hotter. And she realized with horror that she wanted to test him. That night, when the camp slept, she rose from her tent. Her steps carried her to him, quiet, deliberate. His eyes opened the moment she drew near. As if he had been waiting, her shadow loomed over him, her voice low and trembling between rage and desire. "You, human, you tempt me. You twist my mind. You make me feel weak." He tilted his head, smirk growing slow and wicked. "Or maybe I make you feel alive." She stopped inches away, her body trembling, eyes burning into his. And then without a word she slipped inside his tent and sealed the flap shut. Cliffhanger ending question for comments. If you were chained in his place, and the alien warrior sneaked into your tent at night, would you fear her? Or invite her closer? The night was heavy with silence. Only the crackle of distant fires breaking the stillness. Inside the small tent, the human sat chained to the post, his smirk as steady as ever, and she was there. The alien warrior stood over him, her tall form glowing faintly in the dim light, her strange battle markings alive on her skin. Her breath was uneven, her fists clenched as if she battled herself more than him. "Why did you say it?" she whispered at last. "Why me?" His eyes met hers without fear. He leaned slightly forward, chains rattling. "Because it's the truth. When death stared me in the face, I didn't think about survival. I thought about you. And maybe, just maybe, I wanted to see if the great warrior could blush." Her cheeks warmed instantly, though she scowled to hide it. "I do not blush," he grinned. "Oh, you do. Right now. And trust me, it's a sight worth dying for." Her hands trembled. She should have struck him, silenced him, but instead, she lowered herself to her knees before him. "You are chained, weak, broken, yet you still speak like you own me." He leaned back lazily, stretching his arms against the restraints. "Maybe I don't own you, but I sure have your attention. And honestly, that's more fun than freedom." Her chest tightened. Her soldiers outside would never believe this, her kneeling before a prisoner. And yet, she couldn't stop. "Attention is not affection," she hissed, though her voice softened at the end. He smiled slyly, lowering his tone. "Then why are you here, warrior? Everyone else is asleep. You could have left me alone. But instead, you came sneaking into my tent. Almost like you wanted me all to yourself." Her eyes widened. His words struck like an arrow. She stood abruptly, furious with herself. "Do not flatter yourself, human." But he only chuckled. "Flatter? No, I just like stating the obvious. And right now, the obvious is that you want to hear me say your name while you pretend not to care." Her breath hitched. He had seen through her walls again. She spun, storming toward the flap, but stopped. Something inside her burned anger, desire, confusion. She turned back, glaring at him. "You think words are weapons, but they are nothing compared to steel." He smirked, tugging lightly on his chains. "Maybe, but notice how my words are the only thing making your heart race right now. Not the steel, not the chains, just me." Her jaw clenched. She hated him. She admired him. She wanted to silence him. And yet her body moved closer, not away. When dawn came, she dragged him outside. Chains still binding his wrists, she shoved him into the open camp. Her soldiers stared in shock. He, of course, grinned at the attention. "Good morning, everyone." he called cheerfully. Lovely day to be tied up. Though I've had better first dates. The warriors growled, some stepping forward to strike him. But she raised her hand, stopping them. He is my prisoner. None of you touch him. Her voice was firm. But her soldiers exchanged uneasy looks. They saw the way her eyes lingered on him too long, the way her grip on his chain wasn't cruel, but careful. He noticed it too. Oh, I like this, he teased. Your people think I'm dangerous. Can't say they're wrong. I've already stolen their champion's heart. The alien warriors hissed in rage. She snapped her head toward him, eyes blazing. Silence, human, but his smirk didn't fade. He leaned closer, whispering for her ears alone. Careful, or they'll all see how red your cheeks get when I talk like this. Her fists shook. She wanted to hit him. But deep down, she wanted something else even more. To her horror, she realized the truth. His chains didn't make him powerless. His words made her powerless. That night, after the camp had grown quiet again, she returned to him. She should not have. She knew she should stay away. But still, she came. His smile greeted her instantly, as if he had known she would. I knew it. You can't stay away. Admit it. You like me. She froze, her heart hammering in her chest. His voice was playful, his grin infuriating. But her silence betrayed her. He tugged at his chains, eyes glowing with mischief. Untie me, warrior. Unless, of course, you're afraid of what I'll do if I'm free. Her hand hovered over the lock, trembling. Her pride screamed no. Her body whispered yes. And finally, she stepped closer. Her fingers brushed the chains. Cliffhanger ending question for comments. If you were her, would you unlock his chains out of anger? Or out of desire? Asterisk. Her fingers brushed the cold metal of his chains. She froze, her breath sharp, her heart pounding against her chest. For a warrior like her, this should have been simple. Keep him locked, keep him silent, keep him weak, but his eyes, those human eyes stared straight through her, burning hotter than any blade. Go on, he whispered, his voice low and teasing. Set me free, or admit you're too afraid of me. Her hand trembled. She glared down at him, trying to summon the cold fury she was known for. But the longer she held his gaze, the weaker her resolve became. You think me weak? She snapped, her voice sharp but uneven. He smirked, leaning forward as far as the chains allowed. No, I think you're strong enough to want what you shouldn't. Strong enough to feel something. Dangerous. Her jaw clenched. I feel nothing. His grin widened. Then prove it. Untie me. Look me in the eye. And show me you feel nothing when I touch you. Her chest rose and fell quickly. He was provoking her again, pulling her into his trap of words. She hated how easily he twisted her pride into curiosity. With a sudden growl, she unlocked one of the chains. The iron fell loose around his wrist. He flexed it slowly, the grin never leaving his face. Ah. Progress, one chain down. Careful, warrior, at this rate. I might start thinking you actually like me. Her face heated. She slammed him back against the post, pressing her hand against his chest. I do not like you. He tilted his head, eyes glowing with mischief. Funny, because your hand is still on me. Usually when a woman says she doesn't like me, she's not touching me quite this much. Her lips parted, caught between fury and shock. She pushed harder against his chest, leaning close until her face was inches from his. You are reckless, foolish, arrogant. And you're beautiful when you're angry, he interrupted softly. Honestly, I could get used to being threatened like this. Her throat tightened. His breath brushed against her lips. For one heartbeat, she almost closed the distance herself. Almost. She pulled back suddenly, shaking her head as if trying to break free of a spell. This is a game to you, she whispered. He smiled slyly. No, this is survival, and maybe Just maybe. I'm surviving because you don't want me dead. Her chest ached. She wanted to deny it, to silence him with steel. But instead, she reached for the second lock. The second chain fell away. His arms were free now. Slowly, carefully. He lifted his hands. He didn't attack her. He didn't run. He simply touched her wrist, gently, almost tenderly. Her breath caught. No one had ever dared touch her like that. Not as prey, not as an enemy, but as a man, you see, he murmured. Doesn't feel so dangerous when you stop fighting yourself. Her body trembled. She should have shoved him away. But instead, she froze under his touch, her skin burning where his fingers met hers. Leaned closer, his lips brushing her ear. Tell me, warrior, do you want me chained because you're afraid of me? Or because you're afraid of yourself? Her eyes widened. She shoved him back instinctively, but her strength was unsteady. He laughed softly, stretching his arms now that they were free. Careful, you might start enjoying this game as much as I do. Her breathing was ragged. She spun away from him, clutching her chest. She hated this human. She wanted him gone. Yet every word he spoke clung to her skin like fire. Stay here. She snapped, her voice breaking as she stormed toward the flap of the tent. If you try to run, I will kill you myself. He smirked, leaning casually against the post as if he were already the master of this cage. Run? Why would I run? The most dangerous, most beautiful woman in the galaxy just unlocked me herself. Honestly, I think I'd rather stay and see what else comes off tonight. Her knees nearly buckled. Fury and desire twisted inside her chest. She stormed out of the tent before she betrayed herself completely. Outside, the night was cold, but her skin burned hotter than fire. Inside, the human chuckled softly to himself, stretching out his free arms. He knew. She would come back. Cliffhanger ending question for comments. If you were in her place, would you keep the last chain locked or let it fall and see what he does next? The camp was silent, but inside her chest, a storm raged. She had left him chained, half free, mocking her with every word. Yet her mind refused to let him go. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw his smile. Every time she tried to think. Like a warrior, she heard his voice. And worse. She wanted more. Hours passed, and yet her steps carried her back to the tent. Her fists clenched, her pride screaming no, but her body whispering yes. She entered. The human sat cross-legged, his half-loosened chains dangling at his side. He looked up instantly, and that grin spread across his lips. Knew you'd come back. Took you long enough. Miss me already? Her eyes narrowed, though her heart stumbled at his words. I came to remind you, you are still my prisoner. He tilted his head, smirk widening. Prisoner. Funny. I don't feel like one. Not when the jailer keeps sneaking into my cell at night. Heat flared across her cheeks. She stepped closer, trying to reclaim control. You push me too far. Human. He leaned back against the post, arms stretching lazily. Maybe that's the point. Maybe I like seeing how far you'll let me go before you break. Her chest tightened. His voice dripped with temptation. Her pride battled with a dangerous curiosity. You are reckless, she whispered. One wrong word and I could end you. He smiled, leaning closer. Then why don't you? Why is it? Every time I tease you, you get closer instead of walking away. Her breath hitched. He wasn't wrong. Her body betrayed her, inching closer to his warmth. She loomed over him now, shadows wrapping around them. His eyes locked with hers, steady. Daring, you know what I think? He murmured. She swallowed hard. What? His lips curved into that devilish smile. I think the warrior wants to be tamed. Her heart thundered. For one wild moment, she almost struck him. Instead, she grabbed his collar, pulling him so close their breaths tangled. Her lips brushed. The kiss was sudden, fiery, and gone in a heartbeat. She pulled back instantly, her eyes wide, her face flushed. He chuckled softly, licking his lip. Well, that didn't feel like hate. Her fists clenched. Do not mistake weakness for desire, he smirked. Too late. I already did, and if that was weakness, then by all means weaken again. She should have killed him. Instead, she shoved him back roughly, trying to bury the heat burning in her chest. You know nothing of me, she spat. He leaned closer, his voice low, teasing. Maybe not. But I know enough to see what you're hiding. You wear armor on your body, on your heart. But tonight, both are falling. Her breath caught. His words cut deeper than any blade. She turned to leave, but his voice followed her, smooth and dangerous. Don't worry, warrior. I'll wait. Chains or not, I'm not going anywhere. And when you're ready, you'll come back for more. Her steps faltered at the flap. She hated that he was right. She hated that every word made her want to return. Outside, the cold wind bit her skin. Inside the tent, his laughter echoed softly, confident and maddening. The next day, she refused to look at him. She commanded her soldiers with iron discipline, but their whispers never stopped. They saw the way she avoided his gaze, the way his smirk lingered on her even when chained. When night fell again, she found herself standing at his tent once more. This time, her chest burned with anger and longing, alike. She entered without a word. His eyes lit up instantly, his grin sharper than ever. Knew it. You're addicted. She froze, heart racing. He leaned forward, chains rattling softly. Tell me, warrior, do you want to fight me tonight, or something else? Her knees went weak, her pride screamed at her to leave. Her body screamed at her to stay, and slowly she stepped closer, cliffhanger ending question for comments. If you were her, would you fight him harder, or finally give in to the heat? Asterisk, she stood before him, her tall frame trembling in the dim firelight. Her hand hovered just above his chest, so close she could feel his warmth, yet she pulled back as though touching him might burn her alive. The human tilted his head, smirking as always. You're shaking. Is that fear or excitement? Her eyes narrowed. Do not confuse me. Too late, he said softly. You're already confused, and I think you like it. Her chest rose sharply. His words were poison-wrapped, in silk, twisting through her veins until she could no longer tell if she hated him or wanted him. She stepped closer, her voice trembling. My people would call me a traitor for even standing here. Do you understand? I am sworn to kill you. He leaned forward, chains rattling lightly. His eyes never left hers, and yet, here you are, alone with me, at night, again. Maybe you're not betraying your people. Maybe you're betraying your own heart by pretending you don't want this. Her lips parted. No retort came. Her silence betrayed her more than any words could. He grinned slowly. Come on, warrior. Let me guess. You've always been obeyed, always been feared. But no one ever looked at you the way I do. No one ever wanted you, not the legend. Just you. Her breath shook. His words sliced deeper than any spear. He was right. She had spent her life as a weapon, a leader, a symbol of fear. But never a woman. She grabbed his chains and pulled him close, her lips brushing his ear. You speak too much, she whispered. His grin widened. Then shut me up. With your lips, maybe. Her heart raced violently. She shoved him back, desperate to regain control. But he laughed softly, his voice dangerous and playful. You can't keep fighting both. Me and yourself, warrior. One of us eventually. You'll surrender to. Her fists clenched. The fire inside her burned hotter than ever. The next day, battle broke out near the camp. Raiders from another clan struck fast and vicious. Steel clashed, warriors fell. Screams filled the air. Amid the chaos, the human broke free. The last chain snapped in the confusion, and he snatched a fallen blade. She turned, eyes wide, watching him fight. And fight he did, not as prey, not as weak, but as fire itself. His blade cut through attackers, his body moving with brutal precision. He fought not to escape, but to defend her. Her chest tightened. This human, this foolish, arrogant human, was bleeding for her. When the raiders finally fell back, the camp stood in shock. The human dropped the blade, blood dripping from his arm. He grinned at her despite his wounds. "See? Not all chains hold me down." Her soldiers erupted in outrage. They circled, blades raised, shouting for his death. "He is dangerous. Kill him before he kills us all." She raised her hand sharply. "No one touches him." The camp froze. Her people stared at her in disbelief. She was their champion, their iron shield. And now she stood between them and him. "You betray us." One soldier roared, "For a human." She felt their judgment like knives in her back. She knew the cost of her choice. Yet when she looked at him, bloodied, smiling, alive, she couldn't turn away. He stepped closer, whispering only for her ears. "Guess the question is, do you choose them or me?" Her body trembled, her people behind her, the human before her. Her heart split between loyalty and desire, duty and fire. Slowly, she raised her weapon. Her soldiers gasped, waiting for the strike. The human's grin faded into something softer, something real. He didn't flinch. He didn't run. He simply looked into her eyes, as if daring her to choose. Her grip tightened on the weapon. Her breath caught in her throat. And then she swung. Cliffhanger ending question for comments. If you were her, would you swing the blade at him or at your own people to protect him? The blade cut through the air. Her soldiers flinched, bracing for the kill. But the strike never came for him. Instead, her weapon slammed into the ground between them, dust exploding upward. The shockwave sent soldiers stumbling back. She stood, tall, her chest heaving, her eyes blazing like fire. "No one touches him," she roared. "Not while I draw breath." Gasps broke across the camp. Betrayal, treason. Their champion had chosen a human. The human smiled softly, his eyes never leaving hers. "Guess I'm not your prisoner anymore, huh?" Her hand trembled on the weapon. Her heart screamed yes. Her pride whispered no. But she forced herself to meet his gaze. "You are mine." The soldiers erupted in rage. Blades raised, shouts filling the air. "She has fallen. She has chosen prey." He stepped forward, standing at her side. Blood still dripped from his arm, but his grin was steady, sharp. "Prey, that's funny. I just killed more of your enemies than half this camp combined. Doesn't sound like prey to me." The soldiers wavered, their fury clashing with confusion. Was he prey? Or something more? She moved closer to him, her voice low, trembling with both anger and longing. "You fool, you've doomed me." He leaned in, his breath brushing her ear. "Or maybe I freed you." Her chest tightened. His words broke her walls once more. In front of her people, in front of her enemies, she made her choice. She dropped her weapon and seized him by the collar, pulling him into a fierce kiss. The camp gasped in shock. Their champion kissing a human. His lips pressed back against hers, rough, hungry, and real. The chains that once bound him clattered to the ground, forgotten. She pulled back, her face flushed, her voice husky. "You belong to me now." He smirked, eyes burning into hers. "Funny, I was about to say the same to you." Her soldiers shouted, some drawing closer, ready to strike. But she raised her hand, stopping them cold. "He fights with me. He bleeds for me, and now he lives with me." The warriors faltered. Their champion's word was law. Yet the whispers spread like wildfire. She was no longer theirs. She had chosen the human. The human leaned lazily against her, wincing at his wound, but still grinning. Guess I make a decent mate after all, though. I wouldn't mind a warmer bed than a battlefield. Her face heated. She growled low, shoving him lightly toward her tent. Careful, human. Do not think saving me earns you everything. He winked, lowering his voice so only she could hear. Too late. I already earned your lips. The rest can wait until tonight. Her knees went weak, though she forced her posture straight. Around them, her people glared, torn between loyalty and outrage. She knew they would not forgive her. They would hunt them both. But for the first time in her life, she didn't care. She looked at him, his human eyes shining with boldness. No fear, no shame, only that maddening grin. He was reckless. He was arrogant. He was hers, and she was his. The night fell heavy over the camp. Soldiers whispered rebellion. Plans were forming in the shadows. But inside her tent, she stood before him, armor gone, heart bared. You've cost me everything, she whispered, her voice trembling. He stepped closer, brushing his fingers against her cheek. Then let me give you something back. Not chains. Not fear. Just me. Her chest rose sharply. His touch was fire, his words a blade sharper than any steel. And when she finally leaned into him, surrendering her pride, her lips met his once more. This time, she didn't pull away. The warrior was gone. The woman remained, and she belonged to him. But outside the tent, her people gathered in silence, eyes burning, weapons drawn. Their whispers turned into one word, one fate: traitor. Final. Cliffhanger ending question for comments. If you were him, would you stay in her arms and face her whole people? Or run away with her into the dark and claim her as yours forever?